Hey, y'all, and welcome to this week's episode of the Shut Up, Get Up podcast. I'm your host, Mike Muldoon, and thank you again for joining me, and thank you for coming along for this ride. I love hearing from you, so please keep the comments coming, and make sure you share it with your friends. As always, we keep it short and to the point here, and again, I just want to know that you are appreciated. So today, I want to talk about the company we keep. Now, as human beings, we are social creatures. We like to be around each other. We like to connect. It makes us feel less lonely in this, great big world we live in. It also increases our well-being, and it may even help us live longer. In short, being around others is good for you. Sometimes. You see, Rhon once said that we are the sum of the 5 people we surround ourselves with. So picking just any 5 might not be such a good idea. Actually, if anything, picking the wrong 5 can be detrimental to your life. I guess the simplest way to see if this is true is to think about, the people you surround yourself with. I mean, how do you like your life? Are you happy? Do you feel like you're living or on your way to living your best life? Are you being empowered? Do you feel supportive? If you take an honest assessment, do you realize that maybe you're being held back? Maybe you feel like you're being dragged down. Your circle affects you in ways you might not even realize. You might not realize that some of the bad habits you have actually come from your circle. Laziness, procrastination, unmotivated. As I spoke about in an earlier podcast titled, Moving from Lambs to Lions, maybe you're just running with the flock. You just fall in the formation and you don't even realize how it's affecting your life. Sometimes you can even see it in the physical. Sometimes people put on weight with their friends. I mean, there's a pretty good chance that if your friends have some pretty unhealthy habits, you do too. Are you a smoker? How many other people do you surround yourself with that are smokers? I mean, I've never seen a super healthy person surround themselves with chain smokers. This is a perfect example of how your circle might be cutting your life short. One of the challenges too, though, with a bad circle is that, sometimes people just stay in them because they need connection, even if it's bad, but they never look for a way out. They don't even think that that's an opportunity for them. People will stay in circles, even if they make them miserable and unhappy. There was this Harvard study done that found that there is a direct correlation between our happiness in our relationships and how it affected our health and longevity. And more so than just our social class, IQ, or even genes. Now, obviously, it could be personal relationships, but even our friendships. If we're constantly miserable in our friendships or our relationships, or we're feeling stagnant or stuck, sometimes maybe it's just that. You're feeling stagnant, you're feeling stuck, and it's frustrating for you. You might just realize it's because of the circle you're in. Because again, you are the sum of the people you surround yourself with. Now, if you're not aware of your circle and how it might be affecting your life, then take a moment right now. Just get consciously aware. Or maybe you know somebody right now who's in a circle. Maybe you send this to them and say, hey, listen to this. And just get into the present moment for a second. Look at the people you're surrounding yourself with. Are these people really there? Are you feeling empowered by them? Are they holding you back? Is there an opportunity to say, wait a second, this is not what I can have more from my life. Get them looking for another circle. And we'll talk a little bit more about what that circle is in a few. Because maybe you're a young person, right? Here's another thing. See, here's the thing, like when you're young, that circle, right? We all remember, right? Being in school and the circle you're part of and the cliques and whatever it was and so on and so forth. That circle is so important to you, right? It's so important who you are. And it drives so many of your decisions. And let's just say you're a young person who wants to leave town, move, go to a big city, but your rest of the circle's like, no, that's a dumb idea. No, I don't do that. That's ridiculous. We're going to hang out here and we're going to raise our families here. And this is what we're going to do, even though it's against everything you want to do. But you probably find yourself staying in that because that's your circle. That's what your circle thinks, and that's what you're probably going to do. And as I was saying, the younger you are, the more you're influenced by the circle. Now, as you get older and maybe a little bit more self-aware and a little bit more of an independent streak and a little bit more of not being so concerned about people think about you, it's a little bit easier to maybe not be so aware of your social. But the younger you are, especially young people, those social circles are so important. And this is why I'm saying your friends are really your future. And you need to be deliberate about how you're spending time with them. And this is at any age. If you want a better life, you got to surround yourself with better people. Now, that doesn't mean if you want to be rich, you should cut off your broke friends and hang around with a bunch of rich assholes. Sorry about that. It doesn't mean abandon good people in your life, but you got to have a barometer for what good people are. You know, good people should be the type that support you, support your dreams, support your ideas. They should want the best for you, even if it means they might lose you. You know, it doesn't necessarily mean, you know, what you're going after, they're going after, but they're there for you. They support your dreams. They want you to be happy. They want to see you grow. So what should your circle look like? Well, there's a couple of keys that, you know, you definitely want in your circle. The first is when you want to eliminate from your circle and you don't even want to entertain it in your circle. And that is the negativity. You know, the person that is pessimistic, nothing's going to work out, everything's going to fail. They're always complaining. They're judgmental. Everything that happens is everyone else's fault. You know these people, you see enough of it. You probably see a bunch of it on social media. You don't want that person in your social circle. You don't want that person in your life, because the most important reason why you don't want them in their life is negative people are resistant to change. And most of these people live in a state of fear and stagnancy, and they're just too scared to grow. Well, the thing is, you can't grow if you're not willing to change. So you can't have the negative person in your circle there. That's definitely going to drag you down in that being the sum of your 5 people. Secondly, you want people who are doing things. Now, I don't necessarily mean they've got to be doing exciting things, but they're living their lives the way they want to be living. Now, it'd be great if they're doing the same thing as you, if you're both chasing after the same goal. Maybe you want to train for a marathon. Maybe they're training for a marathon. So you're working together. And that's going to be great. But you want to be with people who are doing things, or at least they're living a life that they're happy about living. You know, there are some people in life who are very content and very happy to live a very just simple, easy life. Some people just want to, you know, go to school, get married, raise their families, live in the same house that maybe they grew up in, whatever it is, it doesn't make a difference. But as long as they're happy and they're doing something, they're happy with their lives, those are good people to have in your lives. But if that person is complaining and miserable and upset and blaming everybody for the world, you can't have that person in your life. Remember, you are the sum total of the 5 closest people you have in your life. They're going to drag you down mathematically. So you want to find people who are either moving forward or just happy with their lives. You also want to find people who are going to hold you accountable. If you say you're going to do something, then they're going to support you, but they're going to make sure that you're doing it. Again, people who are going to, you know, hold you responsible, hold you accountable, people who are doing things, they're positive. And here's another great one. Find people that are smarter than you. Like I said, you are the sum total of the 5 people you surround yourself. So find people that are smarter than you. You know, and it's okay to be around people like that. You know, if you happen to find people around you that are smarter than you, that's good, because you know what? Your average is going to go up. So it's just, again, it's so important that in life that you understand that everything we do, everything we bring into our lives, because here's the other thing, and this might get off a little tangent, but I'm a big believer in energy, right? So the people you have in your life doesn't necessarily have to do anything verbally or physically to you, but it's an energy thing. So when you're around people like this who maybe aren't helping you grow and you're onboarding that energy, that's going to affect your lives. So when we're talking about being the sum total of the 5 people you surround yourself, be diligent about it. Be deliberate about it. If it's not working, then move on. See, one of the challenges you're going to face, and again, I've talked about this in early episodes, is that as you begin to grow and you begin to change, people are going to fall out of your circle. Again, some people are resistant to change. You decide you want to get on a healthy regimen, you want to start working out, you want to start training for a marathon, while your friend who wants to keep smoking, doesn't want to change their diet, wants to go out boozing every night, you're going to go your separate ways. Doesn't necessarily mean you're not going to remain friends. It's not like when somebody drops out of your circle, you're no longer friends with them. They're just not as close to you as they were, because what happens is you start drifting to other people who are going to be sort of similar mindset of what you have or what you want. And that's what you're going to be driven to. And that happens. And that's, another thing that I've talked about in a previous episode about moving from lamb to lion. That's going to happen. And a lot of times people are resistant to see you change, which again, we've talked about in a previous episode. And that's going to be tough sometimes. But it's important to remember, as always, it's your life. And like anything in your life, it's important that you make decisions that are going to benefit you, that are going to improve your life. Now, I mean that in the most authentic way. I'm not saying, hey, let's go just put all these people in my life. I don't care about them, but I think they're going to get me places. That's not what I'm talking about. Making the right, most authentic decisions for your life, because life is short. I'm seeing it now. I look at my kids, they're growing. I see people on TV and I'm like, I remember when that guy was a teenager. He's an old person now. I'm seeing it in my family. I'm seeing it in my friends. I'm seeing it everywhere. Life's short and you got to live it to the fullest, to the best you can. And you can't be bogged down or way down if your circle isn't benefiting you. All right, that's for this week. Again, thanks for sticking around with me. You got any questions, concerns, you can always reach me on my website, MikeMuldoonLC.com. I can always be booked there for sessions. Obviously, the first coaching session is always free because I want to get a feel for you. I want you to get a feel for me. Sometimes some of those challenges you might be having can be solved in that little taster session we got going on there. But I want to hear from you. You can always follow me on Instagram at MikeMuldoonLC as well there. I am probably not as great as posting and keeping up to date on that, and I do apologize for that. But I'm glad to be here, and I will always be here for you guys. I'll be here every week. So here's my thing to you. We're going into the weekend. Have a great weekend. And I got nothing but love for you. Till next week.
Get up.